My wife is a high-powered CEO, the kind of woman you see on the cover of business magazines. For 6 years, our marriage ran on a foundation of mutual, frosty respect. Then she ditched me and our daughter to take her assistant to Disney World, booking the entire park for a private fireworks show just for him. That's when I finally got it. She was never really mine. 3 days after she got back, I left a signed divorce agreement on the kitchen island, took our daughter, and moved to the other side of the country. Suddenly, she was the one with red-rimmed eyes, searching for me like a woman possessed. Eleanor, tomorrow's Saturday. You promised you'd take Lily to Disney World. Please don't schedule any work. I sent the iMessage during my lunch break. We worked in the same skyscraper in Manhattan, but it might as well have been different planets. I was on the 12th floor. She was in the corner office of the 28th. The gap between us had always been that wide. She didn't reply. I wasn't surprised. She'd already bailed on Lily 4 times. Every time I saw the disappointment in our daughter's eyes, it felt like a punch to the gut. I could always buy her another toy to smooth things over, but I could never be her mother. Half an hour later, my phone screen lit up. Are you telling me how to do my job? Ethan, remember your place. The words hit me with a familiar, suffocating weight, like a hand clamping down on my throat. A moment later, my phone rang. It was her. Bring the Q4 reports to my office. Now. She hung up before I could say a word. I knew the drill. She was angry. Whenever she summoned me to her office, it was always under the guise of work, a pretense to rip me to shreds over some imagined slight. I grabbed the folder and rode the elevator up to the 28th floor. As I approached her office, I could hear laughter from inside. You're really doing that, Ms. Vance. Thank you so much. You're the best. The man's voice was exaggerated, theatrical. I knew without looking that it was her junior assistant, Leo Dean. I didn't bother knocking. I pushed the door open. Ms. Vance. The laughter died instantly. The smile on Eleanor's face hadn't completely vanished, but the moment she saw me, her expression flash froze into an icy mask. Ethan, do you know why I called you up here? I do. You want to yell at me, and you feel you need a valid reason to do it. I placed a folder on her polished mahogany desk and met her gaze directly. I don't think a simple reminder about our daughter warrants this level of hostility. Ethan, at this company, I am your boss. We keep our professional and private lives separate. Understood? I nodded, a chill seeping into my bones that had nothing to do with the office air conditioning. Separate lives. What a joke. She had no problem laughing and joking with her assistant. Leo, standing by her desk, gently nudged her shoulder. Eleanor, don't waste your energy on him. It's not worth it. He then turned to me, a smug little smirk playing on his lips. I'm sure Ethan is just getting used to the dynamic. After all, you're married. You have a child together. But in the office, he continued, his tone dripping with condescension. You really should be more mindful of appearances, Ethan. I let out a quiet, bitter laugh. You're right, I said, my voice flat. Eleanor looked taken aback. She'd expected me to argue, to get angry. My easy agreement seemed to throw her off. She decided to take the opportunity to de-escalate. Fine, I'll make sure I'm free tomorrow. You can go now. All I wanted was a straight answer. Now that I had it, there was no reason to stick around. I left the folder and turned to leave. As I walked out, I heard Leo's cheerful voice behind me. You're such a great mom, Ms. Vance. Such a shame you married so young, if you hadn't. If I hadn't, what? Eleanor's voice was light, playful. I'd be first in line to ask you out. Oh, you? She scolded, but her tone was full of amusement. I couldn't listen to any more. I walked away. After work, I picked up Lily from school. When I told her that her mom was finally coming with us tomorrow, she jumped for joy. Really? Mommy's really coming to Disney World with me? She was so excited she could barely sleep, chattering about it all evening until she finally drifted off. Eleanor never came home that night. When I woke up to the cold, empty space beside me in bed, a knot of dread tightened in my stomach. I grabbed my phone and saw a new text. It was from Leo. Ethan, Ms. Vance was called away on an urgent business trip. She'll be back in 3 days. Then I opened Instagram. Leo had posted a story. It was a picture of 2 shadows cast against the wall. A man's chin was resting on a woman's shoulder, his arms wrapped around her from behind. In that single moment, any remaining hope I had for us shattered. Eleanor and I had been together for 10 years. The first time we met, At a college party, she walked right up to me and said, "You look like you could be my boyfriend." I looked past her at the rowdy group of friends she'd come with and smiled. "Truth or dare?" I asked. A faint blush colored her cheeks, but she repeated, louder this time, "You look like my boyfriend. Can I get your number?" Against my better judgment, we exchanged numbers. I found out later that she had, in fact, lost a game of truth or dare. But she'd chosen her target. She told me she saw me leaning against the window by myself, that I looked a little melancholy, and that her heart skipped a beat. Now, a decade later, she couldn't even stand the sight of me. I put my phone down and sighed. "Eleanor, this is it. This is your last chance." The next morning, when I told Lily that her mom had to go on another business trip, her eyes immediately filled with tears. "Mommy's not coming with me again. She's so busy, sweetie. She called me last night and said she was very, very sorry. How about just you and me go?" Lily was still heartbroken. Eleanor had broken so many promises, and Lily's disappointment was becoming a familiar ache. We packed our bags and headed to the airport for our flight to Orlando. Thankfully, the magic of the park worked its charm, and Lily's sadness soon gave way to excitement. I chased her from one ride to the next, a happy exhaustion settling over me. Seeing her smile made it all worth it. But then we came to one section of the park that was cordoned off. Lily looked confused. "Daddy, why can't we go in there? I see other people going in." I glanced at the sign at the entrance. It was closed for a private event. "Looks like someone booked it for a big party or something. We can go on the other rides." Just then, a couple of park employees walked out, chatting amongst themselves. Talk about extravagant. Booking the whole area for a birthday party. Yeah, she looked like some big shot CEO, dropping all that cash for some handsome young guy. Man, the other half really lives differently. As I walked away, I steered Lily towards one of the gift shops. Lily picked up a pair of sequin Minnie Mouse ears and held up her little gizmo watch. "Daddy, I want to buy these for Mommy. I'll use my own money." "That's so sweet, honey. I'm sure Mommy will love them." She beamed, paid for the gift, and carefully tucked it into her small backpack. We stayed until the very end for the nightly fireworks spectacular. As the sky exploded in color, Lily insisted I take a video to send to Eleanor. I pulled out my phone, recorded a short clip, and posted it to my Facebook page. A few minutes later, the comments started rolling in. "Ethan, you old romantic. Married all these years and still booking a private fireworks show for your wife. Dude, nice. Eleanor really went all out for you. It's all over TikTok. Teach me your ways. I need my husband to splurge like that for me, just once." I stared at the comments, completely baffled. I refreshed my feed, and that's when I saw it. A new post from Eleanor. The caption read, "A private show. For him, it's worth every penny." At the same time, she posted a reel to her Instagram. A video of the exact same fireworks, but filmed from inside the closed-off area. Her caption, "The kid wanted to see some fireworks." Done. My heart sank like a stone. I typed a single reply to all the comments. "I'm here with Lily today. Eleanor is on a business trip." After that, the comments stopped. Later that night, back at the hotel, after Lily had fallen asleep, I called Eleanor. It rang a dozen times before she finally picked up. Her voice was cold. "What is it? Are you at Disney World?" "Yes. I had a last-minute cancellation, so I decided to pop in." As I was about to call her on the blatant lie, I heard Leo's voice in the background. "Eleanor, the food's getting cold." Eleanor quickly shut me down. "I have to go. Talk later." She hung up. I stared at my phone's dark screen and let out a hollow laugh. A last-minute cancellation? You have to book a private event at Disney weeks, if not months, in advance. "Eleanor, your lies are just pathetic." I shook my head. I didn't even have the energy to be angry anymore. "Daddy? Was that Mommy?" Lily was sitting up at her bed, rubbing her eyes. My heart clenched. I quickly went to her and wrapped her in a hug. "No, sweetie. It wasn't Mommy." I held her until she drifted back to sleep. As she settled against me, she whispered into my ear, "I don't think I like Mommy anymore." Tears welled in my eyes. I could take the neglect, but why did Lily have to? Eleanor didn't care about me, and she clearly didn't care about our daughter. There was no reason for me to stay in this empty, freezing marriage. It was time to end it. I spent the rest of the weekend making sure Lily had the time of her life. Eleanor never called. Not once. On Monday, I dropped Lily off at school, drove to the office, and handed in my resignation. Only then did my phone ring. It was her. "Ethan, you resigned. What the hell are you doing?" My voice was calm. "I want to spend more time with our daughter." "Are you blaming me for not going to Disney World?" "I was on a business trip, Ethan. I worked that hard for this family." "I know you do," I said evenly. "That's why I'm resigning, so I can focus on our home life." My response left her speechless. After a few seconds of silence, she snapped, "Fine, do whatever you want," and hung up. I called my lawyer and had him draft a divorce agreement. Then I called a realtor and listed our Manhattan apartment. I did it all without a second thought. I also filed the paperwork to transfer Lily to a new school. Before I left for good, I had one last stop to make at the office for my exit interview. The HR manager, a notorious gossip, looked at me with a smirk. Well, quitting to become a house husband, are we?" she sneered. "Must be nice. Eleanor brings home the bacon, and you get to spend it. And you still have the nerve to complain when she's too busy for you. Talk about ungrateful." I chuckled. "Eleanor and I are married. I can't control her, but I can certainly deal with you," I said, my voice turning to ice. "As of this moment, you're fired. Go see accounting and clear out your desk." Her face turned beet red. "On what grounds?" "On the grounds that I'm a co-founder and a major shareholder in this company. And you just insulted one of your bosses." The color drained from her face as the reality of my relationship with Eleanor sank in. She slumped in her chair, defeated. I didn't give her a second glance. After finishing my handover, I sold my entire stake in the company. My one condition for the sale: fire that woman. With Eleanor out of town, everything was surprisingly easy. Once it was all done, I sent her one last text. "Let's get a divorce." Her call came almost immediately. "Ethan, what is this now? Is this really all because I missed one trip?" "Yes, it is. The agreement is on the kitchen island. Sign it if there are no issues." My voice was unervingly calm. "I'm sure you and Leo will be much happier together. After all, not even Lily ever got a private fireworks show booked just for her." Her breath hitched. There was a long pause. "I know that was a mistake," she finally said, her voice strained. "It was his birthday, and I was trying to impress a client. I'm bringing gifts back for both of you." "It's too late, Eleanor. I hope that hotel bed was comfortable. You should enjoy it." I could hear her sharp intake of breath. "No, it's not what you think. Let me explain. It was an accident." I hung up before she could say another word. On my phone was a photo Leo had sent me earlier. A picture of them, tangled in hotel sheets. An accident? What kind of accident ends with them sleeping together? Maybe they got drunk. Even so, I didn't care anymore. The constant favoritism, the endless little betrayals. They were already guilty in my eyes. I finished packing, picked up Lily, and we headed for the airport. Eleanor's calls kept coming, one after another. I ignored them all. As we boarded the plane to Seattle, I pulled the SIM card from my phone and dropped in the trash. Goodbye, Eleanor. For our first stop in Seattle was a quiet suburban community with good schools. I bought a small house and got Lily enrolled. She seemed to sense that something major had changed. She stopped asking where Mommy was. But after a week, she finally broke. "Daddy, isn't Mommy coming? We've been here for a whole week." Lily was 7. As much as it pained me, I knew she deserved the truth. "Mommy and I aren't together anymore, sweetie. But if you want to see her, I can always take you to visit." She just shook her head. "No, that's okay." She ran to her room with tears in her eyes and shut the door. Something felt wrong. Lily was a child. She wasn't good at hiding her feelings. I walked across the street and spoke to our new neighbor. When I came back, I understood. 3 days after we moved in, Lily had called Eleanor. But it was Leo who answered the phone. He told my 7-year-old daughter that her mother had a new family now and would soon have other children. A white-hot rage burned through me. That was it. I hired a lawyer and filed for divorce immediately. No more waiting. And as for Leo, I had a special gift for him, too. I sent an anonymous, detailed report to the board of directors at Eleanor's company. For a corporation of that size, especially one in the public eye, an executive involved in a messy affair was a PR nightmare. They took it very seriously. Sure enough, the story broke. News of Eleanor and Leo's affair was everywhere. I was painted as the wronged husband, forced to flee the country with his child. The company's legal team couldn't reach me, and the internet filled in the blanks, creating its own dramatic narrative. If a rich man can have a mistress, why can't a rich woman have a boy toy? Wait, the guy was her assistant? I remember applying for that job and getting rejected because the CEO didn't feel a connection with me. Now, I get it. LOL. So the job interview was basically an audition to be her lover. Fun fact, the private Disney fireworks show was for her boy toy. Her actual husband and daughter were in the park at the same time and had no idea. That's savage. She doesn't even care about her own kid. Someone found Eleanor's Instagram, and the fireworks reel became Exhibit A. A friend of mine leaked a screenshot of my own Facebook post from that night, and public sympathy for me skyrocketed. Eleanor's social media was flooded with angry comments. Leo's background was dug up and exposed. They became digital pariahs. Watching it all unfold online, I felt a grim sense of satisfaction. A month later, Eleanor finally contacted me through her lawyer. Ethan, can we please talk? If it's not about signing the divorce papers, then no. Her voice was laced with panic. Wait, I'll talk about the divorce, but can we please not do this? I laughed, the sound devoid of humor. Eleanor, we were together for 10 years. What on earth makes you think I can't live without you? You promoted your unqualified boy toy to be your personal assistant while I, a co-founder, was stuck on the 12th floor, all in the name of avoiding favoritism. Did you ever consider how that looked to the talented people we hired, or what it meant for the company we built? You broke promise after promise to Lily. Did you ever once stop to think about how that made our daughter feel? You cheated on me with Leo, spending millions on him. Did you ever remember you were a married woman? You're a terrible executive, a terrible mother, and an even worse wife. My words hit her like a physical blow. I could hear her ragged breathing over the phone. We never crossed that final line, she pleaded. I was drunk, and he helped me change my clothes. That's all. And the fireworks? That was his birthday, yes, but Mr. Henderson, our biggest client, was there. It was to impress him. As for Lily, I will apologize to her. I'll make it up to her. I scoffed. Your apologies are worthless. Either sign the papers, or I'll see you in court. I ended the call. I wanted to block her number, but I knew we still had to finalize the divorce. It wasn't just about physical cheating. The emotional affair, the constant deception, that was the real betrayal. I took a deep breath and focused on the thesis glowing on my laptop screen. I had more important things to do. Before leaving New York, I'd contacted my old university professor, who wrote me a glowing letter of recommendation. I was back in school, finishing my Ph.D. Between classes and research, my days were packed. With my encouragement, Lily started to come out of her shell, making new friends. The two kids from across the street became her constant companions. When I was busy, she'd stay at their place. Life was settling into a new rhythm. Then, after a month, Eleanor showed up. It was a Friday, and I'd picked Lily up early from school. As we pulled into our driveway, I saw her standing on our porch. I don't know how she found my address. She was thinner than I remembered, her designer clothes hanging loosely on her frame. Her makeup was perfect, but it couldn't hide the exhaustion in her eyes. The moment she saw me, her eyes turned red as she lunged towards me. Ethan, you cruel bastard, she cried, grabbing my arm. How could you kidnap my daughter and take her across the country? Kidnap? I said coldly, pulling my arm away. I'm her father. I moved her to a place where she could get a better education and a more stable life. How is that kidnapping? I stared at her. The court date is set, Eleanor. What new drama is this? She took a deep, shuddering breath. Ethan, I know you're angry, but we can still fix this. Think about Lily. She's so young. Don't you dare use our daughter as a shield. We both know what you and Leo did. I held up my phone. I have all the proof I need. I should thank him, really. He documented everything on his Instagram. I can explain. It was all for show, for work. I held up a hand. I don't need your explanations. Just sign the papers. Even without Leo, I said, my voice dropping, your feelings for me were long gone. Weren't they? I remembered it clearly. 3 months ago, I bought us a matching pair of designer watches. When I gave her the woman's watch, she'd barely glanced at it, her brow furrowed in annoyance. Ethan, we work at the same company. We can't be seen wearing matching anything. Do you want to advertise our relationship to the entire office? I quietly put the watch away, thinking she was just being overly cautious, a stickler for the rules. The very next day, I saw Leo wearing the men's version of that exact watch. And on Eleanor's wrist was the matching women's piece. That's when it hit me. It wasn't about being discreet. It was about me. I wasn't worthy of wearing it with her. And it wasn't just me she dismissed. It was Lily, too. Lily was now staring at her mother, her small face unreadable. Eleanor knelt down, forcing a smile. Lily, sweetie, don't you remember Mommy? Lily's voice was small. Mommy, are you going to have a new baby now? Eleanor froze. Of course not. Mommy only has you, Lily. Lily glanced at me, then looked back at the ground, silent. I ignored Eleanor and unlocked the front door. As she tried to follow us inside, I turned. This is private property. In this state, that gives me the right to defend it with force. She stared at me, her face a mask of disbelief. I didn't care. I led Lily inside and shut the door in her face. I could hear her start to sob on the other side. I thought she would give up and leave, but she was more persistent than I expected. She rented the house right next door. One morning, Lily was looking out her bedroom window. Daddy, is that Mommy? I looked out and saw Eleanor standing by her fence, just staring at our house with a lost, hollow expression. I sighed. She came to see you. Do you want to go talk to her? Lily thought for a moment, then nodded and went to get dressed. The moment Lily stepped outside, Eleanor rushed over and pulled her into a tight hug. The first thing Lily asked was, Mommy, I sent you a video of the pretty fireworks that night. Did you see it? Eleanor looked like she'd been struck by lightning. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. It took her a long moment to recover. Yes, sweetie, I saw it. It was beautiful. And did you get the Minnie Mouse ears I bought for you? Eleanor's face was a blank. I prompted her from the porch. I left them on your desk at the office. Oh, I didn't see them. She realized her mistake immediately. Her expression shifted to one of dawning comprehension, as if she finally understood who must have hidden them. Wait, I remember now. I put them in my car for safekeeping. Thank you, Lily. Lily may be young, but she's not stupid. The acting was so terrible, it was insulting. Just then, Eleanor's phone rang. A familiar voice came through the speaker. Ms. Vance, there's a problem with the Henderson account. They need you to come in right away. Eleanor's voice was sharp cold. Why does everything have to go through me? What does the company pay you for? If you can't handle it, then just quit. She hung up, her face a mask of disgust. Then she turned back to us, a bright, fake smile plastered on her face. I recognized the voice on the phone. It was Leo. Back in New York, whenever he called, she would drop everything and run to him as if her life depended on it. Now she was speaking to him like that. It was bizarre, but it wasn't my problem anymore. Eleanor offered to drive Lily to school, and my daughter didn't refuse. I followed in my own car. After I dropped Lily off, I headed in the opposite direction. I saw Eleanor watching me leave, a conflicted look on her face. When I picked Lily up that afternoon and drove home, I saw him. Leo Dean, standing in Eleanor's front yard, bold as brass, holding a watering can next to her as they tended to her flower garden. From the passenger seat, Lily squeezed my hand. Daddy, who is that? I didn't answer. We got out of the car. Seeing us, Eleanor immediately dropped the can and stepped away from him. Leo's face fell for a split second. You're back, Eleanor said brightly. Why don't we all have dinner together tonight? Leo chimed in. I can cook. Eleanor hasn't been feeling well, so the company sent me over to help out. I didn't call him on his lie. I just nodded. Okay, thank you. Leo's face darkened, but he forced a smile. No problem. It's my pleasure. Lily tugged on my sleeve and whispered, Daddy, that's his voice. He's the one who told me Mommy was going to have other babies. Don't worry, I whispered back. You're my one and only baby. Inside, Eleanor tried to get Lily to play with a puzzle while I went to wash my hands in the kitchen. Leo followed me, his face twisted with resentment. You must be feeling pretty smug, huh? If you're going to leave, you should have just disappeared. But you had to leave a trail, didn't you? You wanted her to follow you. This is all just a game to you, isn't it? Playing hard to get. I raised an eyebrow. I gave Eleanor the signed divorce papers weeks ago. It's not my fault she refuses to accept them. Since you're so good at following her across the country, maybe you can do me a favor and convince her to sign. His face turned purple with rage. I smirked, dried my hands, and walked into the living room, settling into an armchair. Lily doesn't eat spicy food. I called out to the kitchen. Just a heads up, Leo. Eleanor chimed in from the floor. Keep it mild, please. Leo had no choice but to swallow his anger. Half an hour later, dinner was on the table. Lily took one bite of the pasta and immediately spit it out. Yuck. Leo's expression soured. Eleanor looked concerned. What's wrong, sweetie? It tastes bad, not like Daddy's. Leo tried to explain. Sorry, it's been a while since I cooked. I'm a little rusty. Then why did the company send you to take care of Mommy? Lily shot back, her little face serious. You can't even cook. She turned and gave me a tiny, triumphant wink. She was getting her own little revenge. I smiled and put some steamed vegetables on her plate. Here, eat this. I looked over at them. I've always been the one who cooks for Lily. She's used to my food. An outsider is an outsider. My apologies. Leo gripped his fork so tightly his knuckles turned white. Eleanor looked down at her plate, a flicker of guilt crossing her face. I'm sorry. I cut her off. You don't need to apologize to me. But let's not have this drama in front of our daughter. After this dinner, let's not see each other again. Eleanor's head snapped up. You can't take away my right to be a mother. Enough, I said, my voice sharp. Eleanor, I don't have to spell it out for you. The scandal back in New York hasn't died down yet. You can drop this whole I'll do anything to win you back act, especially since he's here. I gestured toward Leo with my chin. His presence made it clear. Nothing was over between them. The company had probably just put them on temporary leave. And Eleanor, with her power, could easily protect him. The fact that she was trying to placate me while still keeping him around was disgusting. Without another word, I stood up and took Lily's hand. We walked out. Eleanor followed us, whispering, I'm sorry. I was done with her apologies. For the next week, she came by every single day, but Lily refused to let her drive her to school or pick her up. Still, Eleanor didn't leave. My patience was wearing thin. I sent Leo a text. Is this the best you can do? Still haven't sealed the deal? I could practically feel his hatred through the phone. Then, one day, Eleanor got a phone call that seemed urgent. She had to rush back to New York. Before she left, she sent me a text. I'll be back. I didn't reply. About 2 weeks later, my lawyer called. Eleanor had agreed to the divorce. I immediately booked flights for myself and Lily and flew back to finalize everything. The moment I saw her, I almost didn't recognize her. In just a few weeks, she had completely transformed. She looked the same, fundamentally, but her eyes were empty, and a dark bruise marred her cheek. When she saw me, Eleanor gave a bitter smile. When her gaze fell on Lily, she quickly covered her face with her hand. You got what you wanted, she said, her voice raspy. Congratulations. You're finally free of me. I shook my head. Eleanor, don't put this all on me. It's not fair, and it was never my fault. She fell silent. She signed the papers, her hand trembling so badly I was afraid she'd change her mind. We still have to go to the courthouse to make it official, I reminded her. I know. It won't be long. As she spoke, she instinctively touched her stomach. A cold dread washed over me. Are you pregnant? At my words, Lily's head shot up, her eyes fixed on her mother. Mommy, you promised you would only ever have me. You lied. Her voice broke. What he said was true. You don't want me anymore. You're both bad. Eleanor's face went pale with panic. What day? What did he say? I answered for her. Lily called you all back. Leo answered. He told her you wouldn't want her anymore because you were going to have other babies. Lily burst into tears. I picked her up and held her close, turning to leave. Behind me, Eleanor screamed my name, her voice raw with anguish. Ethan, Ethan. I just kept walking, comforting my daughter. A month later, we received the final divorce decree. This time, Leo was with her. The company had fired him, citing the negative publicity. Eleanor had been removed as CEO and forced off the board, demoted to a silent partner who just collected dividends. The moment Leo saw me, his eyes burned with hatred. You got what you wanted. You walk away with most of the assets, and now Eleanor and I have to start from scratch. I shrugged. Isn't this what you wanted? True love conquers all, right? I gave you the woman. You should be thanking me. He seethed, but there was nothing he could do. He made his bed. Now he had to lie in it. As for me, I walked away from my marriage with a settlement of nearly $10 million. It was more than enough for Lily and me to live comfortably. Leo and Eleanor got married shortly after. Seeing them legally bound together, I couldn't help but smile. But I wasn't done. The way she had ignored me was one thing. But the pain she had allowed to be inflicted on our daughter, I wasn't going to let that go so easily. Some old friend from New York reached out after they heard about the divorce. I only asked them to do one thing. Subtly encourage Eleanor to fund a startup for Leo. I'm not a saint. Leo's cruelty to Lily deserved a response. 3 months later, a friend called me, laughing. Ethan, you won't believe this. We didn't even have to do anything. Leo insisted on starting his own company. In this economy, are you kidding me? Plus, with their reputation, they got the business off the ground, but they have 0 clients. And get this, Leo has no actual skills. He just struts around the office acting like a big shot because he's married to the money. Eleanor hired some genuinely talented people, and they obviously don't put up with his crap. After a few clashes, they started ignoring him completely. So Leo tried to fire them. Eleanor refused, of course, and they got into a huge fight. And then, he hit her. The fight was so bad it caused her to have a miscarriage. I listened on the other end of the line, my expression unchanged. So, Eleanor had kept her promise to Lily after all. She would only have one child, at least for now. After losing the baby, Eleanor filed for divorce, citing assault and domestic abuse. It got ugly. Leo's family were parasites. They'd been leeching off her from the start, and now demanded a massive payout to go away. She's nothing without you, Ethan, my friend said. She had a winning hand and threw it all away. She really screwed up. I listened without comment. So, when are you coming back? He asked. You only moved to get away from those two. Now that it's over, it's time to come home, right? I shook my head. My program isn't finished. I won't be back until I'm done with my research, at least. My friend was shocked. Your program? You went back to school. That's right. I'm deepening my expertise in my field. I said, just wait. The next time I come back, you'll all be working for me. He laughed. All right, man. I'll be waiting. After that call, I started blocking out the news about Eleanor. My friends tried to keep me updated, but I stopped paying attention. Eventually, they stopped telling me. My life was more than just my failed marriage. There were so many other meaningful things to focus on. 6 years later, I returned with Lily. After graduation, I had founded my own tech company, filed several key patents, and was now poised to re-enter the American market with a splash. My friend had already established a partner company in New York, and we were ready to merge our operations. My work was in an emerging, high-demand industry. My return made me an instant celebrity in the tech world. My friend slung an arm around my shoulder. Man, those years in Seattle weren't wasted, were they? The licensing fees from your patents alone are enough to set you up for life. If Eleanor knew, she would be kicking herself. Hearing her name felt strange, like a memory from a different lifetime. When we were together, she always made me feel useless, sticking me in a mid-level position at the company I helped build. I never fought it. I always believed that talent would eventually shine through. She never knew what I was truly capable of. I was the keynote speaker at a major tech conference. As I stood on stage, I saw a lone figure slip into the back of the auditorium. It was Eleanor. When she saw me looking at her, our eyes met for a brief second. Her lips parted as if to say something, but no words came out. I simply offered a polite, distant smile and continued my presentation. Afterward, I was mobbed by people with questions. By the time I broke free, my friend was there to drag me to a dinner meeting with several high-profile investors. It was a huge opportunity. As we were heading out, Eleanor blocked our path. Ethan, before she could say more, security stepped in. I continued walking toward the exit. She called out again, her voice desperate. Ethan, don't you have anything to say to me? I paused and glanced over my shoulder. Sorry, I said, shaking my head. I have nothing to say. My friend scoffed beside me. Eleanor, times have changed. Ethan is out of your league now. And how did you even get in here? I don't remember sending you an invitation. The color drained from her face. I didn't look back again. As we drove, my friend filled me in. She's still tangled up with Leo. He's completely useless now, a total freeloader. She did something crazy. Had some guys break both his legs to keep him from cheating on her again. Now she works to support him. Guess she really loves the guy. I just smiled. Her choice. I wished her nothing but the consequences of her own actions. The dinner was a massive success. We signed a deal worth hundreds of millions. After making sure my friend got back to his hotel safely, I headed to the parking garage. To my surprise, Eleanor was waiting there. The moment she saw me, she rushed forward, startling me. Can I see Lily? She pleaded. It's been 6 years. I miss her so much. Ethan, Even though we're divorced, I'm still her mother. I thought for a moment, then pulled out my phone and made a call. Hey, darling. Is Lily still up? A warm, female voice answered. She just fell asleep. When will you be home? About half an hour. See you soon. I hung up and looked at Eleanor. Lily's already asleep. Maybe some other time. Her focus, however, was on my words. Darling, she whispered, her voice trembling. Who is that? You have another woman. How could you? She looked hysterical. I found it almost funny. Why couldn't I? I'm a single, healthy man. I've spent the last 6 years on my own. Is it so strange that I would find someone? In fact, I added, we're getting married. That's one of the reasons I came back, to make it official. Lily adores her, and she's a wonderful mother. You don't have to worry. Eleanor staggered back, a bitter, broken smile twisting her lips. So I missed my chance. I missed it all. She looked at me, her eyes full of the pain I no longer felt. You really did it, Ethan. She covered her face and began to sob, then turned and ran. She stumbled at the corner of the garage, fell hard, then scrambled back to her feet and disappeared into the night. I shook my head. This was for the best. I had never planned on letting her get close to Lily again anyway. The last 6 years have been good to us. My fiancé and I were already legally married overseas. We were just back in the States to finalize the paperwork and celebrate with friends. My life now with my wife and my daughter was perfect. I was happy. As for Eleanor, I hoped we would never see each other again. We could finally, truly be strangers.